Hey, what's going on with y'all, man? This is Will Z Titwell with SpeakUPZee, and we are now tuning in to Z Speaks, powered by The Influence Radio, man. The podcast designed to inspire, inform, encourage, and motivate the everyday innovators, creators, and movers and shakers. Man, and before we get started, man, I want to just tell y'all a little bit about what we're going to be talking about today. Man, I got a very touchy subject that I'm going to be touching on with y'all, man, and it's called Beauty in the Brokenness. And I'm going to tell you guys exactly what that means and, how that has looked in my life and maybe even how it looks in your life for you, man. But before we even get started, man, what does beauty in the brokenness even mean? You know what I'm saying? What does that really entail? You see, but one thing I know is that every person in this life, we all got a story. You see, and our story is where we come from, what we've been through in our life, the things that we've experienced. And those things about our story is what makes us who we are. You see, and one thing that I found to be true is that in that story, there's going to be some horrors. There's going to be some ugly times. There's going to be some bad things. But a lot of people don't like to talk about that. A lot of people don't like to talk about the pain, the failures, the mistakes, the adversities. Those times where we almost quit, the depression, the anxiety, the suicidal thoughts. We don't like to talk about that. You see, but the thing about it is that if I wouldn't have went through some of the things that I went through in my life, then I wouldn't be who I was becoming to be. So let me tell y'all, man, like before I started speaking and serving my community and being known for that guy that, served all these different people and started all these youth mentoring programs and all those great things, man, basketball was my first love. I never thought about doing what it is I do now. Man, but I remember when I was in college and I was actually living that dream of playing ball, even though I knew I was too short to go to the league and I knew I was too short to, play at a very high level in college. I knew that I was good enough to play for somebody. And I was actually living that dream. And I remember, man, on a Thursday night when my whole life changed. And I was just getting off work and my mother called me and she said, baby, before you go back to school, I want you to stop by the house and see me. I haven't seen you. You think you're grown now. And I said, all right, bet, Ma. And so, I got off work and I stopped by the crib and I pull up to the yard, y'all, and there's police officers everywhere. I'm like, damn, what's going on? But see, growing up though, man, my parents used to get into it so much, and they always thought like the solution was calling the cops for some reason. Like they called them so much, like they knew us by name, like they knew how to exactly get to our crib. They didn't need no GPS. And so I got out the car, man, and I said, what's up, officer so and so, man? Let me guess, man, my parents in there tripping again. What's going on? And the officer, man, he looked at me and I don't know, I just knew something was different. I knew something wasn't right. You feel me? And it got to that point where he said, actually, man, not this time. He said, actually, we had to arrest your mother and take her to jail for trying to assault your father. I said, what? Now, keep in mind at this time, man, my mother was 57 years old, had 3 brain tumors, had to learn how to walk all over again. So hearing the fact that she tried to do something like that, I said, damn, I know she hate the man, but I don't think she was capable of something like that. So at that point, y'all, I'm not even worried about playing ball or going back to school that night. That's the last of my worries. I'm worried about making sure my mother's straight. But see, man, the fact that I had to take care of that situation, but see, something just told me that I knew that chance for me to play ball like I always had, that dream I always had as a kid, that it wasn't coming back anytime soon. And I started missing so much school and missing so much practice where eventually I had to drop out. And I was dealing with so much pain to where, and to make things worse, man, my father actually got a restraining order on my mother and myself to where we couldn't even live there anymore at that house. So I went from being this kid that had it all, had the 2 parents, had the nice house, where everything went my way all my life for the most part, to where my whole life changed and I'm homeless now. Like I remember watching my mother have to sleep on people's couches. I'm sleeping on people's floors. We having to steal just to eat. Like I remember that. And I had to find a way, man, to deal with the pain of what it is I was going through in my life, or else I was going to go crazy. And so it got to the point where I just started writing. I just started writing about the different things that I was going through in my life, the different things that I was dealing with in my life. And I found something so beautiful. I found my purpose. I found out the reason I was put here and what it is I was supposed to do. And you know what, man? I started sharing the different things that I was writing and the different things that I was creating with different people. And I started doing it at open mics and I started putting it on my social media. And people was like, man, Z, you got something. And so I started thinking about it like, I love that question when people say, why do you do what you do? Because to me, knowing why you do what you do, knowing your motivation and your reason for something you do is more important than what it is you do any day. So when people used to ask me that question like, Z, why do you serve your community? Why do you write? Why do you do all of these things that you do? Man, I said, man, you don't even understand that it's so much bigger than me. Because when I was going through that storm in my life and I was going through all of those things in my life, I realized that not only was the things I was writing about and the things I was speaking about, the things I was talking about, it wasn't just helping me through my hard times, but I was helping so many other people that was going through the same things. I was telling my story. And when people say, Z, why do you serve your community? Why do you give back? Why do you do such things like that? Man, because every time I give out that warm meal to somebody, every time I serve somebody and I give out that blanket or I'm talking to that kid from my youth mentoring program or whatever the case may be, I remember when I was in that same situation. I remember when I was wishing somebody would have something for me to eat. Somebody cared enough to take care of me the way I'm trying to do for other people. And I promised myself that I would never go back to that place. And I promised myself I would never feel powerless enough to where I couldn't be able to help other people the way it is I want to. That's why I do what I do. And the crazy thing is, I always ask myself, well, damn, what if I was never broken? What if I never had to go through that storm in my life? Then I would never found my purpose. I would have never found my reason for being. So when people ask me that question, man, what does it mean when you say beauty in the brokenness? It's understanding that, yeah, you may have been through some pains in your life. Yeah, you may have had some failures. Things may not always went your way. But when you find the beauty in your brokenness, you find the reason and the lesson and the blessing and why it is you went through what you went through in your life. That's what it means. And the crazy thing about life is that, man, whether we may admit it or not, everybody's been broken before. Everybody done been through something in their life. But you know why a lot of people never see the beauty in their brokenness? They never allow themselves to heal. They never slow down long enough to reflect on why it is they went through what they went through in their life. See, it's so easy for us to just go through life saying that we okay when we know we really not. It's so easy to just drown ourselves in the distractions. And you know what, man? Matter of fact, I was just talking about that the other day where these days, man, when you get on social media, it's almost like people give off this impression like their life is so perfect. Like they never go through anything in their life. Like they never deal with anything. And see, the thing about it is that when you actually believe that and you actually think that's what life is, when something does happen to you, then you wonder why you can never get over and why you keep going through the same things in your life, why you keep experiencing the same trials and tribulations because you never allowed yourself to heal. You'll never allowed yourself to grow from that. See, because I kind of look at life like a test. And see, you go through certain things in your life to learn from it. And see, when you're faced with something later on in your life, that's your chance to show what it is that you learned from that thing that you went through last time in your life. But yeah, we wonder why we keep failing. Because we never gained the wisdom from those experiences. We never grew. We never changed. And to me, man, that's what makes the brokenness so beautiful. The lessons, the wisdom, the opportunity to stop being who you used to be and being able to have the chance to become who you were meant to be. Man, because something that I want you to always understand is that when you go through those things in your life, God was never trying to hurt you. He was only trying to help you. And see, and sometimes we have to go through the worst situations in our life because that brings the best out of us. You know, and I kind of think about it like a person that has a lot of scars on their body. 9 times out of 10, they're going to try to hide those. They're going to try to do whatever it is they can to get rid of those. And it's the same thing in life. When we have a lot of scars, when we have a lot of baggage, when we've had a lot of brokenness in our life, we try to hide it. See, but we don't even understand that those scars have a message all on their own. And what those scars say is that, yeah, I may have been through that. Yeah, I may have been through that pain. Yeah, I may have been through that experience. Yeah, I may have been through that depression and all those different things in my life, but I'm still standing. I'm still strong. Those things tried to break me time and time again, but yet I'm still here. I'll live that pain. And I just want to leave you with this to think about, man. I remember there was this piggy bank I had, man, and it had so much money in it, like so much change. I was like 7. And I just, for some reason, could not open the damn piggy bank. And so finally, man, I just took a hammer and I just busted open. And I said, man, ain't that kind of how it is in life? You know, we got this treasure, this special thing on the inside of us. And God has been trying to get to it so he can use it to make this world around us a better place, to make it more rich. See, but sometimes he has to break us in order to get to that special thing on the inside of us. So sometimes, yeah, you have to go through the pain in order to find your purpose. And sometimes you do have to lose in order to win. Sometimes you do have to be broken in order to be made whole again. But to be honest with you, man, that's what makes the brokenness so beautiful.